welcome to another episode of Rooted and Rising, a podcast where we talk about growth and wisdom. Today's episode is about something that is deeply human: love, connections, and the choices we make when it comes to partnership. My guest today is Gail Bains. She is the founder of Eternal Strings and she works closely with individuals and families to find them intentional and aligned relationships. But beyond matchmaking, her work sits at the intersection of self awareness, values, and emotional readiness. This episode isn't about any shortcuts or timetables. This is about who we become before we meet someone else. Gail, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ramnik.
I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I also want to commend you for what you're doing. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ, it shows and you're doing a phenomenal job. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. ਕੀ ਹਾਲ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ?
ਮੈਂ ਠੀਕ ਹਾਂ ਰਾਜੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਾਓ?
ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ। ਸੋ ਗੇਲ, ਬਿਫੋਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਮੈਚ ਮੇਕਿੰਗ ਜਾਂ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪਸ ਬਾਰੇ, ਆਈ ਵੁੱਡ ਲਵ ਟੂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਵਿਦ ਯੂ।
ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਦੱਸੋ ਆਪਦੀ ਖੁਦ ਦੀ ਜਰਨੀ ਬਾਰੇ, ਬਈ ਹਾਊ ਡਿਡ ਯੂ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਚੂਜ਼ ਦਿਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸ਼ਨ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਮੈਚ ਮੇਕਰ?
So this happened to me just after COVID. ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਡਰਾਈਵ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਐਗਜ਼ੈਕਟਲੀ ਪਤਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਇਟ ਵਾਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਡਿਵਾਈਨ ਇੰਟਰਵੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਰੀਲੀ that the idea came to me that I should become a matchmaker. And because I love helping people and I have introduced a lot of young couples and knock on wood, they have successful marriages. And ਤਾਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਰੈਂਡ ਨੇ we started tossing up names. And the next thing you know, Eternal Strings was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ that relationships do play a very important part in your life.
100%. It is very important. ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਗੇਲ, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ whatever we are called to for work, right? I think it has a connection somewhere in the universe. Either it comes from our own questions, our own experiences, or sometimes from our own wounds. But it's a calling.
Absolutely. It is. It's amazing how, like, now that I've been doing this for over 3 years, just after COVID, to me, it's such a beautiful journey when people meet and they, get to know each other and ਕਿੰਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ differences ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈ, yet ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ that bring them together. It's absolutely fabulous to see that.
Yeah. And you're doing a very noble thing, to be very honest.
I really appreciate that. And it's good to have a word of confidence from youngsters like yourself to say that I'm doing a good job. And I pray to God that I keep doing the same work.
Yeah. Okay. Gail, moving on. ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਐਸੇ ਟਾਈਮ 'ਚ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਫਾਸਟ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਇਟਸ ਮਾਡਰਨ ਡੇਟਿੰਗ ਫॉर श्योर, but there are endless apps out there, right? And there are also endless options, to be very honest. What do you see as a professional matchmaker? ਅੱਜ ਦੀ dating scenario or scene ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ?
Ajkal, I think that care and compassion is missing a little bit, unfortunately, because ਅਸੀਂ hung up ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮੈਟਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਅਪੀਅਰੈਂਸ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ rather than ਕਿ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ. Yes, appearances do matter to a certain extent, but at the end of the day what's important is ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਕੋਮੋਡੇਟ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ, ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੋ ਸੈਪਰੇਟ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਐਂਡ ਓਬਵੀਅਸਲੀ ਸਾਡੇ 'ਚ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸਿਸ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਹੀ ਨੇ, ਬਟ ਉਹ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ,
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ,
ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਰਿਲੇਟ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਦੈਟਸ ਵਾਟ ਮੇਕਸ ਅ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਸ.
I see a lots of people, they are very disconnected from themselves. ਅੱਛਾ, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਡਿਸਕਨੈਕਟਡ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਫਾਰਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. You have to know yourself. You have to be confident with yourself. And we do have professionals that help you with that if you don't have the confidence. Ajkal ki hunda ya, and I unfortunately have to give COVID some of the responsibility for that, is ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ detach ਹੋ ਗਏ ਹਾਂ. ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੋਸ਼ਲਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ, ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਸਕਿੱਲਸ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ, ਹੁਣ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਕਮਿੰਗ ਬੈਕ, but that was the biggest reason. And then we all became introverted in a way where, our video games became a priority rather than being humanly connected with each other. And I think ਉਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ issue ਹੈਗੀ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ.
Yeah. मैं ना आज I was watching a video where it was regarding a matchmaker. So she's a matchmaker in USA, and her ideology is that she doesn't show the picture.
ਅੱਛਾ ਜੀ.
ਸੋ ਪਿਕਚਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸ਼ੀ ਬਲੀਵਸ that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੋਟੋ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਮਨਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ rather than that person is actually compatible with you on many grounds.
Right. Yeah.
And ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਨਾ never judge the book by its cover.
But we do.
Okay, you do.
No, not me.
Okay.
Most people do.
Okay,
Most people do judge a book by its cover, and that's why first impressions are important. I commend the matchmaker in the US that does that, and I hope she's having a lot of success. But having said that, most people are topical.
Yeah.
They want to see what the person looks like. Correct. They won't even go and have a presence, like, suppose kar lo tusi blind date te kisi nu bhej de wo nahi ja ke khush hege because they want to know. And these days ਲੋਕੀ later on ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ so ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ they are very set in their ways. They want to know what the person looks like. They want to know what their education is and all of that. As a matchmaker, we try our best to make sure that you guys are compatible, and only then we introduce you to each other. But ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ expectations ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ, it's more topical.
More topical. That's so true. And Gail, do you believe that right now when people date each other, are they coming from a place of loneliness, or is it their whole in themselves and then they start looking out?
Some of them, yes, are coming from loneliness. Some of them are where they were too focused on their education and they were too focused on their career. And when all of a sudden they get to a certain age, it's like, oh no, I need to find myself a partner. So they do take their time. And then I even tell them, even if they are of a certain age, I'm telling them, still don't settle. That you waited so long, make sure it's the right person, that you're meeting the right individual for the right reasons. Not that you have to sort of settle down just because study in age hogi. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਯਾਦ ਆ ਗਈ when I just got married, because I got married very young. My husband's aunt, she told me, she goes ਜਦੋਂ ਨਾ, and she was referring to my age because I was pretty young, she goes ਜਦੋਂ ਨਾ ਦਰਖਤ ਨਵਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਟਾਹਣੀਆਂ ਸੌਫਟ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨਾ, ਸੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਿੱਧਰ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਮੋਲਡ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਬਟ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਦਰਖਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਸਖਤ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ, that you can't mold them. So well, it did work for us, but each individual has their own journey and story. That is a very good analogy that she gave you. But ajkal ਆਪਾਂ older ਹੋ ਕੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਵੀ there are advantages and disadvantages in everything. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ younger ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ adjust easier ਕਰਦੇ। ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਲੇਕਿਨ career ਵਗੈਰਾ set ਕਰਕੇ education finish ਕਰਕੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, we are also set in our ways.
Oh yes.
ਉਹ 'ਚ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ difference ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, but as long as ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ understand ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ differences accept ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, I think there's, you can still make it work. And you make it work in a positive way.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So there's good and bad in everything.
Most definitely. Gail, at this platform, we talk a lot about inner work. So, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਲਾਈਫ ਪਾਰਟਨਰ ਲੱਭਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਲਈ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, what kind of inner work is actually required on our side?
More about being ready for the relationship. Being, some people, parents will tell you that kids are ready to get married, but the individual has to be ready themselves.
Correct.
At the end of the day, what happens is ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ਬਰਦਸਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਲਓ, ਉਹ ਮੰਨ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ next thing you know, within a month or within a week sometimes, or ਕਿ they are not together, because ਉਹ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਰੈਡੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਰੈਡੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਰਸ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਫਿਰ ਅਨਫੋਰਚੂਨੇਟਲੀ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ you know ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ we can reason with them, we can talk to them about it and get them to understand, and if they're not ready, let's not force them into a relationship.
Okay.
You know, yeah, yet kai bache even at 20, 21 they're like, yeah, I'm ready to settle down. And which is okay, because when they're younger they're more adjusting and they're willing to you know, take the next step. Because that's what they you know, have grown up with ki ha, I want to marry my prince charming and that, and so and yet some of them are not ready at 30, 35. So
that's so true.
It's all in how each individual's perspective is, and we got to respect that. And that's why on my website the first question that we have is, do you have permission from your son or your daughter? Yeah,
that's very important.
Yes, absolutely.
ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੀਲਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, is it more about clarity, or you know, they are doing that emotional maturity work on themselves? What are you looking for?
I think it is emotional maturity. Just because they get to a certain age doesn't mean that they're ready.
Correct.
They have to process this thought, and it could be, you know, maybe they've been through some trauma and they need to heal from that trauma first, or they've been in a relationship and that relationship unfortunately didn't work out. So don't settle down on a rebound. You have to make sure ki tusi taiyar hege ho to get into a relationship, because it's a lifetime commitment. It's not you know ki ha try out kar lo, nahi. ਇਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਮਿਟਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਅਗਲੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਇਸ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਨਾਲ ਗੁਜ਼ਾਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ it has to be the right person. Yeah,
that's so true. That's so true.
So don't settle.
And I think that is why ਜਿਹੜਾ inner work ਹੈ ਇੰਨਾ important ਆ, because love cannot fix us.
No.
It reveals us. Right? And ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਆਪਣੀ thinking ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ okay, you know, settle ਹੋ ਜਾਓ and maybe ਸਭ ਕੁਝ fix ਹੋ ਜਾਊਗਾ.
ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹ ਫਿਕਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. ਇਨਫੈਕਟ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਵਰ ਅਪ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੇਟਰ ਔਨ ਇਨ ਲਾਈਫ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਉੱਭਰ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਐਂਡ ਸਮਟਾਈਮਸ ਇਟਸ ਨਾਟ ਦੈਟ ਪ੍ਰੀਟੀ.
Most of the time it's not that pretty.
And to be honest with you, love is not something that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ you fall in love and life is amazing. You know, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ 40 ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋਏ ਨੂੰ, and to tell you the truth, ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਲੇ ਤੱਕ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਤੇ ਵਰਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. My husband and I still go out on dates. We go at least once every 2 weeks or once a month, depending on time, you know. We are best friends, yet we still have disagreements because we are two different individuals. And it's whether or not we learn to respect each other's differences. And that's where the most important thing is कि एक दूजे ਨੂੰ accept करो, being different individuals, and respect the differences. And you know, ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ understand ਕਰ ਲਾਂਗੇ, then it's going to be amazing.
That is so true. I love that. I also believe in that very firmly कि ਜਿਹੜੀ marriage ਦਾ institution ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਪਿਆਰ is one part of it.
Absolutely.
But I think ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ part ਉਹਦਾ respect. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੀ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਡੀਵਿਜੂਅਲੀ ਰਿਸਪੈਕਟ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ, ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਲਾਈਫ ਲੌਂਗ ਬਿਊਟੀਫੁਲ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ, ਕੰਪੈਨੀਅਨਸ਼ਿਪ.
ਮੈਂ ਐਨਾਲੋਜੀ ਇਹ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਪਿਕਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, we are both looking at the exact same picture, but what you see and what I see is two different things. That doesn't mean कि जो तुसी देख रहे हो गलत है या जो मैं देख रही हूँ गलत है या सही है. It's मेरा perspective ਇੱਕ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ perspective ਇੱਕ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ. You know what I mean?
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
So that's what we need to value and we need to appreciate and respect.
Yeah, that's a beautiful statement. Gail, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ relationships ਦੀ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ aspect ਆਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ energy ਦਾ. I firmly believe that everyone has their own energy and aura.
Absolutely.
So ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ. ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਮੋਸ਼ਨਲੀ ਮੈਚੁਰ ਆ ਨਾ, ਐਂਡ ਦੇਰ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਕਾਮ ਪ੍ਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਸ ਟੂ ਦੈਮ. ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਰਿਸ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹਾਊ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਇਜ਼ ਇਮੋਸ਼ਨਲ ਕੰਪੈਟੀਬਿਲਿਟੀ?
I think it's one of the most important things. ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ, as I mentioned to you about myself, that my husband and I, we still go out on dates. and I like dressing up for him.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't appreciate me, I'm like, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਨੂੰ notice ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ.
Huh.
Those things are important.
Yeah.
And to keep the spark alive, it's very, very important that we have to do that for each other. ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ he's coming home and or I'm coming home and he's just there sitting there like whatever. We like compliments.
Yeah.
We love the attention.
Yeah.
And if he or in that case myself, I'm like, oh, you look very handsome today. It holds weight.
Yes.
It's important, and we need to hear those things, and we tell each other we love each other. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ, but you know I love you. I said, no, I need to hear it.
That's very important.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's important that we confirm those things.
Yeah.
ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ spark ਜਦੋਂ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ, that's when unfortunately we start looking outside. And obviously we don't want that to happen, but it happens because you're not getting the attention you want from your own home.
Yeah.
ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But it does happen, and that's the reason. You have to make your partner feel like they are the one, and you have to do things for each other to keep the spark alive, and you have to go the extra step. ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਵਿਆਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, it's okay. No, do that for each other, and ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ go on a date or plan a surprise for them. Do these things because I feel it's very important.
It's very important. That's so true.
What do you think?
I feel the same. ਮੇਰਾ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਨਵਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਨਾ, so my husband and because it was arranged marriage, so there was not ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ compliments and all ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ. So I trained my husband. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ, I will get ready. ਮੈਂ ਪੌੜੀਆਂ ਉਤਰ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ. You have to compliment me.
Absolutely.
So I literally had to train him. Now he's well trained. Now he knows whenever I'm ready, he will just shower me with the compliments.
Absolutely.
And Gail, ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੜੀ ਅੱਛੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਕਿ when and then there comes a point that we start looking outside because we're not getting that attention at our own home. This is happening a lot, to be honest.
It is.
And I think this is one of the biggest reasons that we see in women. I mean, men go outside for different reasons, but ਜਿਹੜੀ ਔਰਤ ਹੈ ਨਾ, they are seeking for emotional validation. ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ compliment ਕਰ ਦੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ importance ਦਵੇ. And that's one of the reasons.
ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ analogy ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਆਂਟੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ of a tree. If you think of a tree, if the roots are not strong enough, how long is that tree going to stand?
Yeah.
Right? ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੜਾਂ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਮਜ਼ਬੂਤ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਜੋ ਉਤੋਂ ਉੱਭਰ ਕੇ ਆਏਗਾ, that's also going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? And ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਜੜਾਂ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ strong ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ, ਥੋੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਰਹੇਗਾ and then ਉਹ tree ਡਿੱਗ ਜਾਏਗਾ.
ਡਿੱਗ ਜੂਗਾ. ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ. Yeah.
So that's why we need to make sure, and you have to nurture that tree, you have to water that tree, you have to look after it.
Yeah.
In order for it to grow and bloom and be beautiful.
Yeah,
and
that's so true.
Yeah. So that's what's important.
Yeah. That's why they say na ki the grass is greener wherever you water it and feed it. So
not the grass is not greener on the other person's thing, but it is. You're very right.
Yeah.
How you look after the relationship, how you nurture it. That's what's important.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Gail, Hunna, moving on, let's come to South Asian families. Now, when you're dealing with South Asian families and when it comes to relationship or marriage in our families, our culture, this is not just between a boy and a girl. This is between the whole family.
Absolutely.
So, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ as a matchmaker ਕਿ ਜੋ individual ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ match ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, how do you perceive them with or without their family unit?
As you said, South Asian families, it's very important to focus on the extended family part as well, because at the end of the day, us tarah ta hai nahi ki a husband wife, I mean, as not even a husband wife at that time, that the couple comes together and it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to keep the extended family in mind as well, because ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਬੇਸ਼ੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ modern ਹੋ ਜਾਈਏ, at the end of the day, it's important that the extended family is kept in mind. So your values, your family values are all very important. First, it's your values. ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ family ਦੀਆਂ values ਕੀ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ partner ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹਦੀਆਂ values ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ family ਦੀਆਂ ਕੀ values.
ਸੋ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੇ ਸਪੋਜ਼ ਕਰੋ ਹੁਣ family is expecting something else but the individual is expecting something else. How do you deal with that person without shrinking what the person wants and just to make the others happy?
You can't.
You can't.
If they make a choice that that's what they want, then they have to be strong enough to stand up for their partner when the family interferes.
Yeah.
Family, ਸਾਡੀਆਂ families ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ interference ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. And it's how you handle that interference that's important. How strong are you as an individual? How respectful are you about your families? And how mindful are you about your families?
Yeah.
All of those things, factors come into play. And we have to keep those in mind when we're getting into a relationship.
Yeah.
ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਦਈਏ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ we are happy with each other and that's good enough.
Yeah.
Are they living in a joint family? Are they living on their own? What are the demographics of it? And you make sure that you focus on that before you get into a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, because those things are very important.
Yeah. I think that is why it's very important ਜਦੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ matchmaking just the romance is the first thing that goes out of the window once the
100%.
responsibility part starts.
Yes, once the the wedding happens, all the fancy stuff happens,
Hanji.
and the dust settles.
Yeah.
That's when things. What you do behind closed doors is very, very important.
Yeah.
ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੇ ਦਿਖਾ ਦਿੰਨੇ ਆ we have such a rosy relationship. ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਵਾਈਨਰੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਹਾਲੀਡੇ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ?
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ.
That is what makes a difference and that's what makes or breaks a relationship.
Yeah.
How deep are you into it or how shallow are you into it? That makes a big difference.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. So Gail, ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ you're working in this industry, I want to understand from my own perspective, what kind of clients are you getting? Are you getting the young people, middle-aged people?
I'm getting a bit of both.
Acha.
Zada middle age ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ and mostly professionals ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ.
Acha.
ਹਾਂਜੀ, I've got a lot of doctors, lawyers, accountants ਵਗੈਰਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ. I've got realtors as well. So, it's a mixed array of clients that I have and all wonderful, wonderful people. And, so I have all of them. And I also have people that are in their 50s and 60s looking to meet.
Wow.
And their thought process is different. Their motivation is different because they're looking for a companion that they can spend time with. And
Yeah. Companionship is, I think, the most beautiful part about being with someone.
Yeah.
Some people think that, people just get together for maybe sexual reasons, but I think that is just very little tiny part.
Absolutely.
Whole picture is a lot more.
Yeah.
And companionship is huge.
It is. And ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ partner ਨਾਲ share ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ. Whatever you can share with your partner, you can't share with any other person. And that's why I say my husband's my best friend. Because I can talk to him about everything.
Yeah.
And that's what makes our relationship stronger.
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ.
ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕਹੂਗਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਓ ਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਕਹੂੰਗੀ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸੂਗੀ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ husband
I say that same line. Like ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸੂਗੀ but I have to tell Nav.
But I also say ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ but I have to share I share everything with him. So
Gail, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਜ ਪੁੱਛਾਂ, what is one thing that you wish people would understand about love, marriage, relationships? Not romance, something deeper than that. What would it be?
From my experience, I would say understanding. As I mentioned to you earlier, understanding each other's differences. That is so crucial. ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ differences ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, but we're two different individuals. If we understand each other, then we can accept each other. There's a book that is very important that I wish everybody would read before they get into a relationship. and that is Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus.
Oh, I've heard about it.
Yes, and it's such a brilliant book. And in that, it tells you that men go on facts and women go on emotion.
Yeah.
And if we understand that, then I think we have conquered everything. क्योंकि देखो बंदे ने कहना कि this is a fact and that's it. And us as women will say ਲੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ you know. And if men understand that, then it's like, okay, I can make her happy. I just have to understand what her emotions are.
Yeah.
And I have to, you know, work around that. And if he says, okay, this is how it is, and you're like, okay, he thinks it's a matter of fact kind of thing, so let's go along with it. And life would be amazing.
Life would be amazing.
Yes.
So
And
true.
this is what it takes. It is a very simple formula, yet it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is one amazing advice. Thank you.
Thanks.
So, Gail, before I let you go,
जी.
let's play a fun rapid fire.
ठीक है.
ठीक है? So, I'll ask you rapid questions and you have to answer me quickly.
चलो.
तैयार हो?
I'll try my best.
ठीक है जी. All right, let's go. How would you describe modern dating?
I think true effort is missing. Yeah.
Love or compatibility? What matters more long term?
I think both.
Biggest relationship myth people still believe?
That love is easy.
Love is not easy.
Yeah.
Soulmates or conscious choice?
Again, I have to emphasize on that because my husband and I were not soulmates when we first met. It was an arranged marriage. And then once, you know, we got to know each other and we did become soulmates after all. And our love is stronger than ever now.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's both.
Yes.
First thing you notice when meeting someone new?
I notice their aura.
Yeah.
And, you know, because when you see somebody, you can truly tell what they're about and how strong of an individual they are or what their insecurities are. ਉਹ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ.
One habit that strengthens any relationship?
Consistency.
Yeah.
Which is very important when in your relationship. If you're consistent and you understand each other, that just strengthens a relationship. And individuality, we respect each other's individuality. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something people should stop romanticizing in relationships?
Jealousy and insecurity.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yes, absolutely. Because it should not be romanticized. And when you're jealous of each other or of your partner, then it shows and it's a downward spiral. And you realize that everything that they do, you're always checking their phone, you're always looking at them at a function, you check to see who they're talking to. And it's not healthy for yourself. It's very toxic and it can lead you in the wrong direction.
Most definitely.
You have to trust your partner and you have to be able to, walk away and say, that he or she is a strong individual and they are your partner. You don't have to worry about where they're at or who they're with. Yeah.
One piece of advice you'd give your younger self about love?
I would say believe in the process.
Okay.
Because since I had an arranged marriage, at that time I trusted my family. They made the right decision for me, and today, 39 years later, I can still say the same to everybody. That and I would say that to my younger self is I should have trusted my parents.
Yeah.
Because they had my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it shows today.
Yeah. Gail, thank you so much. Those were some big truths right there.
Thank you.
And thank you for playing along.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. And I wish you all the best. It is truly an amazing job that you're doing. And you're going to have a lot of success in the future. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so, so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And I am truly honored to have you here today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and your heart out with us.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
So as a matchmaker, I can tell you that you guys are a beautiful match. And it shows. It shows very well. And I wish you guys all the best. But that's what my goal is on Eternal Strings, is to match up beautiful people like yourself.
Thank you so much, Gail. We will be sharing Gail's information on the screen so you can contact her anytime for any emotional healing as well as finding your best partner.
Thank you.
And to my lovely listeners, hope that today's episode reminded you that the relationship that you built with yourself actually sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. Please do share this episode with someone who is navigating love or big relationship decisions. And as always, stay rooted in who you are and keep rising into who you're becoming. I'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you so much.